ॐ शन्नो मित्रशं वरुणः शन्नो भवत्वर्यमा शन्न इन्द्रो बृहस्पतिः शन्नो विष्णुरुक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायो त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तद्वक्तारमवतु अवतु माम् अवतु वक्तारम् ॐ शान्तिः 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 ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विना वधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 तस्य इदमेव शिरः अयं दक्षिणः पक्षः अयमुत्तरः पक्षः अयमात्मा इदं पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तदप्येष श्लोको भवति. This is where we are. And we saw earlier, let me just pull up the bhashya here. We saw earlier, tasya cha बाह्याकार विशेषेषु अनात्मसु आत्मभाविता बुद्धिः. Tasya means who? The prakritam. This person has got the buddhi firmly entrenched in what? Bahyakara vishesheshu. Always outwardly focused. Inside, what is there? Nothing is there. Nothing is there inside because the inner, what's its name? The inner life is not being watered. That is the thing. It is just like this. Whatever seeds you water and whatever seeds you nurture, those are the ones that grow. Those are the ones that flower. Those are the ones that you see. In terms of, it's very simple logic here. This is not some kind of a huge, Vedanta prakriya or anything like that. This is just a simple thing. Upon waking up, if one keeps on thinking of all the things and all the ways in which somebody has slighted me, other people's omissions and commissions, other people's what they haven't done, and why these people did this, why did they not do this, if that's how one wakes up. And sometimes that's what happens. There's some kind of a trigger, and that trigger usually is invisible because it's part of the unconscious mind. Something has been triggered. Okay, then what happens? As a result of that, some certain tendencies are, certain seeds are watered. And in the watering of these seeds, those are the kinds of harvests that come. So if you water the seeds of anger, if you water the seeds of upset, jealousy, fear, and all these things, that is what is going to come. That's what is going to grow into a huge tree and full of thorns and, envelop the heart. Where is the compassion? Where is the love? Where is anything for that matter? But on the other hand, if you water the seeds of clarity, of compassion, that is what is going to grow. And so, but here, the person entering the Upanishad is what? Bahyakara Vishesheshu Anatmasu Atmabhavita Buddhi. That person is just used to an outer world, a world that is inimical, that jiva is used to an outer world. This is how we all were before Vedanta. Think about it. You know, everybody was like this. Before Vedanta, one is the jiva, that is helpless, hopeless. And before Vedanta, what happens? Well, one is is confronting a world at any given time that appears to be scary and inimical to me. That is how the world is. And that's why one has to protect oneself from the world. And that protective mechanism takes on like a ninja stance. There's a ninja protective mechanism. And so that is what this kind of a protective mechanism to keep the world at bay so that I can have my say. This is what I have to do. I have to keep the world at bay so that I can have my say. I can have a little bit of territory to control that I call mine and my people. And how should my people behave? They should listen to me. They should be favorable to me. In fact, I'm going to wind them up as though they are clockwork mice. The children play with that, or cats play with that, as though they are the other people in the world are cat toys. I wind them up and then watch them go around. This is, but the people that they are not clockwork toys. They refuse to be wound up. And who gets wound up? You, as a result. They refuse to get wound up. Even if you wind them up, they will not go according to your plans and according to your this thing. And so there is a lot of frustration, there is a lot of pain, there is a lot of all kinds of things. And this is why this Bahyakara Vishesheshu Anatmasu Atma Bhavita Buddhi. It's a very deep sentence. And so, what is this Gudha Abhisandhi? Gudha Abhisandhi means certain things which are not evident at the first go. Certain things which are not evident. What is not evident here? Oh, you can just gloss over and say, yeah, outwardly focused buddhi. That's only part of the problem. Outwardly focused buddhi is not just outside the body. Even body focused buddhi is outward focused buddhi. Mind focused buddhi is also outward focused buddhi. Senses focused buddhi is also outward focused buddhi. Other subtle things focused buddhi like heaven, etc., that's also outward focused buddhi alone. Then what is inward focused buddhi? Inward focused buddhi is where the I-ness is walked over from all these identifications. We're starting with the body, mind, sense complex and significant others and all these things. It's walked over to Satchidanandam Brahma. That is the inward focused buddhi. How is it possible to have that without Vedanta exposure? It's not possible to have that at all. And so, therefore, what? What is the option? There is no option. Choicelessly, one is meandering in this outward focused buddhi, but that's only part A. That is only part of the problem. That's not the whole problem. And what is part B? Part B is thinking and being convinced that this alone is my redemption. Anatmasu Atma Bhavita Buddhi. So the Buddhi is in Anatma, and that is not a surprise. What else can you expect? Buddhi is in Anatma, yes. But then Atma Bhavita Buddhi, Bhakya Vishesheshu. Meaning, the Buddhi, although it is in Anatma, thinks that Anatma itself is Atma. Problem number 2. So that's why this sentence is very, very important, because there are two problems here, and both the problems are worth recognizing very, very carefully and worth looking at. So this is what it is, and that's why I'm spending so much time here, doing this. So Atma Bhavita Buddhi, and therefore Analambya means without recourse to anything. The person likes to lean on the body as a source of comfort. Lean on the mind, thinking that the mind is going to be here forever. Why? I'm eating a handful of goji berries every day. Goji berries, where the Himalayas, it is from the Himalayas. There it is extinct. And it is there in packets in all the people's houses in the West. Okay, because it is over harvested. Same thing with all the other super berries from Brazil. What is that? Acai berry and this goji berry, ginkgo. All these things, they are all over harvested because one wants to keep the mind going. One wants to keep the body going. So therefore, the analambya means without leaning on the body for support, emotional support and identity support, thinking I am the body, without leaning on the buddhi, without leaning on the mind, etc. Analambya vishesham kanchit sahasa. Sahasa means suddenly, all of a sudden. Vishesham analambya, without leaning on to a specific thing. Antaratama Pratyagatma Niralambana cha Kartum Ashakya. What is the subject matter of this sentence is buddhi. Buddha, since it's feminine, Kartum Ashakya buddhi. So this buddhi is unable. Kartum Ashakya means unable to do. Unable to do what? Sahasa, suddenly, Antaratama Pratyagatma Vishaya. It is unable to contact or understand or identify with what? This Antaratama Pratyagatma Vishaya. The innermost I, it is unable. Why? Because it is a codependent thing by nature. Buddhi is always using a crutches. Buddhi, even though it's not impaired, it's still using crutches. It's like a person who has had, what is that called? It's like a person who has been on crutches for some time because they've had some ankle break or sprain or whatever it is. Then after rehab and after getting the strength, after working out and after doing all that, then what happens? They're able to let the crutches go. But still, they carry the crutches around because they are not confident. They carry the walker or the crutches around. So the buddhi is like that, always carrying the crutches even though it doesn't need them. Stupid little thing because it doesn't know what it should do. Yeah, that's why it's called pea brain. Yeah, that's what it is. And bird brain, because the bird imagery is going to come here. And so that is what it is, because it is not able to kartum ashakya iti drishta shariratma samanya kalpanaya shakha chandra darshanavat antah praveshayan ah tasya idameva shiraha. Beautiful introduction. Iti drishta shariratma samanya kalpanaya. So drishta means that, so it needs something that is tangible. Drishta here doesn't mean seeing. We have to translate in the context. You see, drishtam here means tangible. Because suddenly from its penchant for holding on to the tangible body, the mind, the senses, the buddhi cannot graduate into holding on to nothing. And even if supposing the buddhi becomes Buddhist, okay, and the buddhi goes to some sanghas, and the buddhi is told shunyoham, you are nothing. The truth of you is nothing. You know what it will do? It will say Shunyoham. It will catch on to that Shunyata. It will catch on to the concept of Shunyata, which is not the point at all. Even in Buddhism, that's not the point. The whole point is to say, one, it is emptied of all notions. But here, I am empty. This is what it holds on to. It holds on to the notion that I am nothing, I am non existent, at least I am non existent. Let me hold on to my non existence. How does it bother you? This is what happens. And so, therefore, this buddhi being very tricky in this way needs some kind of a crutches to graduate from seeing itself as this body to seeing itself as Satchidananda Atma. the process is not very, the process is not very quick because of these intermediary factors. Because of these intermediary factors, the process is not at all very quick. And then, so therefore, what? Therefore, this prakriya is initiated. Which prakriya? We have already talked about the prakriya, which is called Panchakosha prakriya, and it is initiated, and then little bit, and then Shakha Chandra Nyayavat. Shakha Chandra Nyayavat means like seeing the moon at the end of the branch. Shakhayoho madhye Chandraha. Shakhayoho madhye Chandraha. So that means in between the branches. And actually, for our purposes, we Shakhagre Chandra is better. It's better to say Shakhagre. Agre means in the front of the Shakhas, in the front of the, what is that called? Shakha. What is Shakha? Branch. In front of the branch, the Chandra is available. So for us, that is a better thing. So, tasya idameva shiraha, and all this ityadi arabhyate. So this is what is being, this is what is being taught. And so then, because we have to take certain steps, we have to take certain steps, and then that steps is akin to looking at the first day or the second day or the third day crescent moon, which nobody can see. It's like a what is that? Shakhagre Chandravat. Shakhagre Chandravat. The Tika explains this very well. Yatha loke, just as in the world, Chandram bubhodayishuhu. What is this big word? Bubhodayishuhu. It's just like mumukshu jignasu. It's a desiderative word. The person desirous of seeing the Chandra. What is Chandra? Moon. So the one who is desirous, one who is yearning to see the crescent moon, but then looking everywhere and then doesn't see it at all. Chandra is not visible. For whom? For the one who wants to see. The other one who says, "Oh, what a beautiful moon." And the first one is saying, Where? I can't see it. I see it. Okay, so then one fellow has seen it, another fellow is yet to see it. And so the first fellow says, "Look at the moon." But there is no moon. Where is the moon? Okay, all right. We have to make it a little more concrete because the moon seems to not be, it's so faint and it's so subtle. It is not being visible at all. And so he says, "Let's go." He wants to share the knowledge with him. And so Chandram Bubhodayishuhu Bodhaitum Ichuhu. The fellow who has a desire to show him, the one who has a desire, Bubhoda Ishuhu, and the one who has the desire to show him. And so, what does that person do? Shakhagram alambya bodhayati means taking recourse to these the tips of the branches, bodhayati. Do you see the tree? Which tree? Yeah, this tree. Do you see the left branch? Yes. Do you see the end of the branch? Yes. Do you see the top of the branch? Yes. Do you see the other top or other branch which is forking from that branch? Yes. Okay, look at the end and look just one. Just look beyond the end. Ah, yes, the moon sighting has taken place. Fantastic. Wonderful. Oh, this is very nice. And so this Chandra, this Chandra Bodhanam, Shakhangram Alambya Bodhayati. And iticha, so the Bodha, the person who has understood, what happens? Digantarani tyaktva. Very nice tika here. Digantarani tyaktva. Digantarani means all the other directions, because the sky is a huge place. You can look to the left, you can look to the right, you can look to the north, you can look to the south, you can look in the non-cardinal directions, you can look all over. So that is what the fellow was doing. Digantarani means his or her, vision was just focused all over the place. The person was all over the place, everywhere the person was, without any kind of a direction. And then what happened? Couldn't see the moon. So now that he has been shown through this method of from the concrete going to the abstract, or what is abstract for the buddhi to catch as an object, namely Satchidatma, then the person is very, feels very dhanya. Dhanya means very grateful. And in this gratitude, after seeing the moon, what is the first thing to do? Digantarani tyaktva. In fact, succumbing to this particular prakriya, succumbing to this particular prakriya means what? The methodology. Succumbing to this particular methodology involves giving up other things, other ways of knowing, other preoccupations, that bahya vishaya buddhi, giving up, because now you have a direction. Now, if you, supposing you don't see the moon even after following the prakriya, what do? You go back to the beginning of the prakriya. Okay, tree, check. First branch, check. Second branch, check. Third branch, check. Why are you bringing in so many branches? Because I have to cover Annamaya, Manomaya, Pranamaya, Vijnanamaya, Anandamaya. I need 5 branches. So branch number 5, check. Okay, look at the end of branch number 5. Ha! You have to repeat. You have to, what is that? You have to repeat. You have to repeat the prakriya, because the first time it was, there was some obfuscation. That is what happens. There was some obfuscation, and maybe the eyes stopped functioning. Something fell into the eye. Some phone call came, and then somebody else was, so somebody else was talking. So I got distracted. I forgot to see where the moon was. All these things happen, and so therefore, what it entails is that once you catch hold of this prakriya is being offered to you by the Upanishad. Who is the guru here? Who is the who is the one that is the teacher here? By the teacher in the Upanishad, this prakriya is being offered to you. And the one who is the bubho the ishuhu, but that one, the guru who is desirous of showing the Atma as though you are seeing it, showing it's not possible to show as an object, but leading you to the Atma. That means what? All other prakriyas, all other things for the time being, you have put a stop to that. You have committed to this way of knowing, understanding, etc. You've committed to this way. And so, therefore, that commitment, is talked about very beautifully in the Tika. And what does the Tika say? Shakhagram alambya bodhayati. And so then what? Digantarani tyaktva. That means the person who is desirous of seeing the moon gives up the desire to keep on looking in this direction or another direction, because she or he trusts the process that, okay, this will lead me to where I want. So gives up all other directions and giving up all other possible recourses in the line of their sight, giving up all of them. Tyaktva shakhagram pashyan, seeing the tip of that particular branch, and go, following the methodology. Then then what happens? Then shakhagram pashyan tadvara chandram pashyati. Through that prakriya, sees the moon with the help of the tadvara, means through that doorway. Don't say where is the doorway. The doorway here is the methodology of the branches itself. So through that doorway, the person sees. The person sees the person sees the shakha and decides to stop looking elsewhere, having the restless eye syndrome, and then he is blessed by seeing the moon. Tadvat, so too, in the same manner, what अन्नमयादिषु कोशेषु क्रमेण आत्मत्वेन उपदिष्टेषु सत्सु बाह्ये पुत्रादौ पूर्वकोशे च आत्मत्व बुद्धिं क्रमेण परित्यज्य सर्वकोश अधिष्ठानभूतं सर्वान्तरं ब्रह्म अहमस्मि इति प्रतिपद्यते मुमुक्षुः इत्यर्थः. Very beautiful. Tadvat, in the same manner, what? Annamayadishu kosheshu. Starting with the physical body, this body which is a modification of food, etc. Annamayadishu kosheshu, and then what happens? Putradau purva koshecha atma buddhim kramena parityajya. So, as soon as something is called a kosha, immediately the person recognizes it as anatma. Immediately. Because it's just a small placeholder on the way to understanding myself as Satchidanandam Brahma. Mithya Bhutam. This is Mithya Bhuta kosha. So that this is what it is, very, very clear. So then what happens? So all the directions, all the possibilities of intuiting myself as Satchidananda, asking the passerby, am I Satchidananda? Or, feeling myself or experiencing the Satchidananda, all those penchants, and then singing myself to understand I am Satchidananda, doing some karma yoga, and instead of the knowledge and saying I am thinking it will lead me to Satchidananda. If I give charity, it will lead me to Satchidananda directly, giving up all other modalities, and recognizes this Atma. That's what it is. So first, what is the first Atma one encounters? The first Atma when one encounters is Annarasamaya Purushaha. This Purusha who is the product of the food that has been eaten by the parents, grandparents, and herself, himself also. As soon as you say that, then the Atma Buddhi is in the body. Not only in the body, in the Putra, in the child, in the Pautra, in the grandchild, etc. So if the Atma Buddhi is there, then what is there? That means what? Mama, Madiya, it's mine, 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 mine. Atma Buddhi is there, etc. So meaning Mama Buddhi, Aham Buddhi is there. That means that still that has to be given up. That is a modality that has to be given up. So giving that up means that you are suspending those identifications for the time being. That is the idea. From the body, the Upanishad leads you inside. Pranamaya Atma. So first you thought what? Body itself is Atma. Oh, it's not. Okay, why? For these reasons. And the reasons were already given before. What were the reasons? The reasons were two in number because it is, there are many reasons, but Bhashyakara summarized it. One is because it is, Vyabhicharitvat, because it keeps changing, and because it is finite. These two reasons, the body cannot be Atma, which is infinite, which is Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Iti, the idea is there. So then what is the Atma? Where is the Atma? So the body is not Atma. Okay, I'm ready to let go. I dare to let go of the notion I am the body. Then what happens? Then what is the Atma? Pranaha Atma, Pranamaya, not only Prana, Pranamaya, a product of a variation or a modification of Prana. So then that means what? Now I'm looking at the tree in the Drishtanta. So after giving up Putra, Pautra, etc., now I'm seeing the tree. Oh, the tree is the moon. No, 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 no. Tree is not the moon. Neither is the moon the tree. But first stop looking elsewhere. Look at the tree. Can you see the tree? Yes. Can you see pranamaya? Yes. Can you see the breathing? Yes. Can you see the subtle body? Can you sense the subtle body through this? Yes. Okay. Pranamaya is Atma. Oh, Pranamaya is Atma? Yes. So Atma is Pranamaya? I did not say that. Pranamaya is Atma. Atma is not Pranamaya. Why? Anyontara Atma Manomaya. One more Atma is there. Will the real Atma please stand up? Yes, it will stand up at the end of this Valli, at the end of this chapter, it will stand up. Even before the end of the chapter, it will advertise itself. That is the idea. So you go through these various potholes where there are landmines in the form of identifications, wrong identification, and mistakes. And the Upanishad, to help you along, goes along with the next wrong identification. So just so that you will give up this wrong identification. So give up the body as the I. Oh, okay. Why? Because the more subtle thing is you. The pranamaya pervades the annamaya, because that which is subtle, we have seen this in the Panchakosha, in the Panchabhuta Prakriya, that which is subtle pervades that which is gross. The air pervades the space, pervades the earth. Space pervades the earth. Space, the most subtle, the earth, the grossest. And then what? So then, if Bhudevi, Mother Earth, is wearing a sari, what will it consist of? Space. Space is the sari for Mother Earth. And if you don't understand that, very, very sorry. That's all we have to say and move on. So, space is seen as the sari for Mother Earth. Why? Because that which is subtle pervades that which is gross. So, similarly, pranamaya, these subtle body, the subtle functions in the body, such as circulation, respiration, etc., it pervades the body because it is naturally, it keeps the body running. It pervades the body. It is more pervasive than, a limb of the body, for example, the hand or the leg or any part of it. It is less objectifiable. It is more subtle and more pervasive. So then the Upanishad leads you and makes you catch hold of Pranamaya as Atma, because everything is Atma. Atma is not any one of them. That is the whole idea. Then you have come there, you have come to the tree and you're hugging the tree for dear life, because you have been told you can't look anywhere else. You just have to look at the tree. And then what? After you look at the tree, then you go to another branch, Manomaya. Manomaya is Atma. All the modification of the mind, the buddhi, the thoughts, etc. No, Vijnanamaya, one particular vritti. And what is that vritti? I am Karta iti, that is Vijnanamaya. That one particular mindset. I am the doer of agent of action. Vijnanamaya, that is one branch. Then Anandamaya, another branch. Okay, look at the tip of these two branches, you will see the move. So slowly it takes you to subtler and subtler identifications, so that at the end there is really nothing to give up, because you are led through this prakriya. So then you have to take 3 or 4 steps. I see the first branch, second branch, third branch, etc. And then what? Then after this, Anandamaya, no, this is what it is. Then Tasya Pucham Pratishtha. There is a word that's going to come. Pucham means tail. So the tail is what? Brahman means that which holds up these Maya, this whole subtle body, the gross body, the causal body is Brahman alone. And so therefore, Shakhagre Chandra Darshanavat Yatha Antaf Praveshan Aha is going within. Anyantaratma iti Praveshan Aha. Kim aha tasya idameva shirah iti. So this is this shiraf panyadi kalpana. This imagery. And the imagery is, there are certain things that are important. The imagery here is very interesting because there is not that much to imagine. There is not that much imagination is not called for. Why? Because it is, look at the now from the Bhashya, we are back to the Upanishad sentence. Look at the Upanishad sentence, not Bhashya, Tika. From the Tika, we are back to the Upanishad sentence. Look at the Upanishad sentence. Tasya idameva shiraha. Tasya purushasya annarasamaya purushasya idameva shiraha. Idameva means that which you see. Oh, this big head that you have, that is the head. You don't have to get ahead of yourself and imagine another head. Why do you not want to imagine another head? Because Bhagavan has already given you one head, okay? How many heads are you going to imagine? One head is plenty. You don't have to imagine one more head and one more head and one more head. No, you already have one head. That is more than enough. Thank God you have the head. And then you don't have to imagine one more head because dealing with one head itself is a big chore. Yeah, already one feels like Ravana. One feels like one has 10 heads on any given day, which is stressful, which is tension filled. You don't know what to do. Every option looks equally important, and there are so many things to do. So you feel 10-headed on given any normal day. So the Upanishad is making things easy for you because we are talking of the physical body, which is Bhagavan, which is given by Bhagavan. And in this physical body, what is there? Head is already there. That's why idam means you have to touch the head. It is like a little anganyasa, this head right here. This is the head. This itself is the head. Don't get ahead and try to imagine any other head. But then it is called Kalpana. Why? Because the Upanishad wants you to think of this body as a bird. As a bird. Why bird? We already talked about the reasons why the body should be looked upon as a bird. Why should the body be looked upon? Why is this whole bird imagery there? Do you remember the reasons that were given? Yes? No? Maybe?
To take off.
Yeah, this is, we are going to take off. And the path of a person from being an Ajnani to Ajnani, it is said very beautifully in the Brahma Sutra somewhere. What is it said? Is like the trail left by a bird in flight. Is there a trail left? No, meaning the path is invisible. Why is it invisible? Because there is no path. There's only you. You are already free. That is the idea. So, therefore, it is about to take off. That's why bird. Another reason, many reasons I gave.
These Titiri birds.
The Taittiriya birds, which are kind of like, what are they called? Partridges. And because it was said that as the rishi, one particular rendition is that as the rishi was channeling the Upanishad, the birds were just there on the tree, and then they got these Upanishads. That is the idea. They got the Upanishad. That's why it is named Taittiriya Upanishad. Yet one more story, a kind of an unsavory story, is there in the sense of what is that? So, in the sense of some story. I don't remember the whole thing. And what does that have? This Yagyavalkya, who studied with one guru. I forget that. I'm not very good in all these details of the Puranic stories. But it doesn't matter because what matters is the essence of it. So he studied under the guru, and then after that did something bad, like either what's that? He desecrated the reputation of the guru or something like that, and then The guru said, okay, since you have done this, you have not been a worthy student. And so, what do you need to do? You just vomit it all up. You cannot use this knowledge. So, he made him vomit up the knowledge. And then the birds that were there, the Tittiri birds, ate this vomit and then became enlightened. And then that is another reason why this whole bird imagery is there in the Taittiriya Upanishad. These are some of the stories associated with the bird. And the bird also is very basic. It doesn't have a lot of limbs. It doesn't have a lot of things, that needs to be talked about. It has two wings, one head and one tail. And that's exactly what the Upanishad needs to teach. So that's why. So here there's only at the Annamaya level, there is only partly imagination involved. The other part is already there. Meaning the head is there, the left hand is there, the right hand is there, but you just imagine it to be the head of a bird. The hand will be the wing of the bird, like this, because there is a reason. And so that is the thing. Let us read the bhashya before we go any further. Tasya
Tasya
asya purushasya
asya purushasya
annarasamayasya
annarasamayasya
idameva shiraha
idameva shiraha
prasiddham
prasiddham
प्राणमयादिषु
pranamayadishu
अशिरसाम्
ashirasam
शिरस्त्वदर्श शिरस्त्व शिरस्त्वदर्शनादि
shirastvadarsanadi
इह अपि
iha api
तत्प्रसङ्गः मा भूतिति
tat prasangah ma bhutiti
इदमेव शिरः इति उच्यते.
idameva shiraha iti uchyate
एवं पक्षादिषु योजना.
evam pakshadishu yojana.
Yeah, yojana means the setup. The setup is with regard to the bird. And evam means in this manner. In which manner? Very interesting. In this manner means as follows. So first he says, because it starts with tasya. And one thing we know in grammar school, in elementary school, is don't start a sentence with a preposition, with a pronoun. First, you have to start a sentence with a noun and then you go to the pronoun. But here, immediately pronoun, tasya. Tasya means kasya, for whom? For him, for whom? Tasya purushasya, for that purusha, for that person. Which person? Anna rasamayasya, the one who is the product of the food, the one who is born of the physical body, which is the Atma now, which is got the provisional definition of Atma. And for this Purusha, tasya idameva shiraha. No kalpana here. No imagination, because you have a head. And then ayam dakshinah pakshaha, ayam uttarah pakshaha, ayam Atma. And then, so this is this is what it is. Then, so, tasya purushasya annarasamayasya idameva shiraha prasiddham. Prasiddham means you already have a head. It's almost like Bhashyakara is trolling us. You already have a head means it is well known. Prasiddham, you don't need to study the Shruti to know you have a head. In fact, it's because you have a head you can study the Shastra. And so then, Pranamayadishu Shirasam Shirastva Darshanad Ihapi Tat Prasangah Ma Bhutiti Idameva Shiraha Iti Uchyate. So now this is relevant. The Shiras Kalpana is relevant where? It is particularly relevant in the area of in the area of this Pranamaya, Manomaya, etc. Because there is no head. You have to really imagine a head. Tasya yajure vashiraha. ऋग् दक्षिणः पक्षः, साम उत्तरः पक्षः, आदेश आत्मा, अथर्वाङ्गिरसः पुच्छः, अथर्वाङ्गिरसः पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा. Like this, you have to imagine certain things to be the wings, etc. But here there is no imagination, and let not the person's imagination run riot. Ma bhutiti. That's why the Upanishad says, Tasya idameva shiraha. This shiras that you are carrying over your shoulders, over your head, the last time you checked, that which was above your shoulders is what is being talked about here. Yeah, is exactly what is being talked about here. This is what ma bhutiti idameva shiraha iti uchyate evam pakshadishu yojana. So in this pakshadishu yojana means in this manner there is a yojana. There is a yojana means there is an arrangement. This is the setup. Because for pranamaya, manomaya, there is no limbs, there is no form consisting of limbs. Therefore, we need the kalpana. And in this kalpana, each anga is, is a particular limb, it's a particular thing. And in the manomaya, like I said, yajureva shiraha, etc. You have to imagine the Yajurveda as the head of manomaya. Like this, you have to do that. But here, this superimposition, this deliberate superimposition is not there with reference to the physical body, the kosha dealing with the physical body. Why? Why? Because the head is already there. There is a head, there is a hand, there is a left hand, there is a right hand, there is a trunk, the middle portion, feet are there. And so, therefore, here the body is looked upon straight away, just as the bird. That's all. And then the right hand becomes the right wing, the left hand becomes the left wing, etc. And the middle portion, the trunk of the body, becomes the body of the bird. And the tail of the bird is the legs of the person. This is what this is what it is. This is what it is. So, Anna Rasamayasya, let's not forget what is Anna Rasa. That which is a modification of the what is eaten, the essence of the food, the assimilated food converted into various factors that constitute the physical body. Therefore, Anna Rasamaya. And then Tasya idameva shiraha, ayam dakshinah pakshah, ayam uttarah pakshah. So like this it goes. So this is idameva shiraha. And then therefore what? This idameva shiraha, this head is there. And then for Bhashyakara says it is prasiddham. Who for prasiddham means already well known. For whom? For you, for me, for anybody. It is for everybody. It is prasiddham, because we are not talking of what is inside the head. That may not be prasiddham. Only the person who is who is occupying that head will know what is inside the head, whether there is Vedanta inside the head or Bahya Vishayakara inside the head. Only that person can tell. Whether the person is focused or distracted, only that person can tell. But we are not talking of that. That's much more subtle. That again is manomaya, vijnanamaya. But here we are talking of that head alone, which everybody can see, is sitting in the classroom. But where that head has gone within, nobody can see. But we are talking of the physical head here, because this is the kosha dealing with the physical body. So then, prasiddham shiraha iti. This is what it is. Tatra pranamayadishu ashariram, ashirasam. So, but in the following koshas, Bhashyakara helpfully points out that is not the case. You cannot imagine pranamaya. It doesn't have a body, it doesn't have a face, it doesn't have a head. But then idameva shiraha is used because that which is ashirasam, that which doesn't have any head, the other koshas, pranamaya, etc. Then here shirastva darshanat. Here we have the head being seen, being shown. And so you need not do kalpana, you need not imagine there, because it's only a partial imagination. Convert your head into a bird's head. Imagine a bird, and then your nose is the beak, perhaps. I don't know. So then you can imagine your head as a bird. And then ihapi, shiras is not kalpita, it is very much there. And so therefore the word this is used. See, Bhashyakara is so careful. Even the word tasya, idameva shiraha, this idam is not even glided over. And then further, let us read the Bhashya. Very nice and very easy, not very difficult. And tasya, yeah, where did we stop? Iti uchyate. Evam, we finished that. Ayam dakshino bahuhu
Ayam dakshino bahuhu
purvabhimukhasya
purvabhimukhasya
dakshinah pakshah
dakshinah pakshah
ayam savyo bahuhu
ayam sabyo bahuhu
uttarah pakshah
uttarah pakshah
ayam madhyamah
ayam madhyamah
deha bhagah
deha bhagah
atma
atma
anganam
anganam
madhyam hi esham
madhyam hi esham
anganam atma
anganam atma
iti shrutehe
iti shrutehe
idamiti nabhehe
idamiti nabhehe
adhasthat
adhastat
yadangam tatpuchham pratishtha
yadangam tat puchham pratishtha
प्रतितिष्ठति अनया
प्रतितिष्ठति अनया
इति प्रतिष्ठा
इति प्रतिष्ठा
पुच्छमिव पुच्छम्
पुच्छम इव पुच्छम
अधोलम्बन
अधोलंबन
सामान्यात्
सामान्यात्
यथा गोः पुच्छम्
यथा गोः पुच्छम
एतत् प्रकृत्य
एतत् प्रकृत्य
उत्तरेषाम्
उत्तरेषाम्
प्राणमयादीनाम्
प्राणमयादीनाम्
रूपकत्वसिद्धिः
रूपकत्वसिद्धिः
मूषानिषिक्त
मूषानिषिक्त
धृतताम्र
उत ताम्र
प्रतिमावत्
प्रतिमावत्
तदपि एष श्लोको भवति
तदपि एष श्लोको भवति
तत्तस्मिन्नेव अर्थे
तत्तस्मिन्नेव अर्थे
ब्राह्मणोक्ते
ब्राह्मणोक्ते
अन्नमयात्म
अन्नमयात्म
प्रकाशकः
प्रकाशकः
एष श्लोकः
एष श्लोकः
मन्त्रो भवति.
मन्त्रो भवति.
Yeah, so here, very interesting. I am Dakshinah Bahuhu. So this is the southern hand. What do you mean, southern hand? I thought I had the left hand and right hand. So then, what do you mean by southern hand? No, Bhashyakara says, that's why we need Bhashyakara, otherwise southern hand means what? We don't understand this. So, no. Purvabhimukhasya purushasya. So, for the person who is facing east. So, if you are facing east, then which hand is facing south?
Right hand.
Right hand.
Left hand faces south if you are facing east. And so, ayam dakshinaha, left hand or right hand? Left hand.
Right hand.
Right
It's
hand.
right
Right
hand.
hand is,
Right hand.
yeah, right hand. So that's why the right hand is discussed first. Right hand is facing south. And so this is called southern hand. The southern hand here is the right hand, because what the Upanishad doesn't mention, because she is of short, sentences and small words. So he wants to, Bhashyakara wants to point out that it is assuming that the person you are standing facing east. If you are standing facing east, that the southern hand will be the one that is the right hand, and that is called the Kshinaf Pakshaha, the right wing. Not political right wing, left wing, etc. Okay, right wing, literally right wing. So that is the right wing. I am Savya Bahu. So Savya means north. So the northern hand. And northern hand means which hand?
Left hand.
Left hand.
Why it took so long? That we have only two hands. We are not like goddess Durga. Okay. Yeah. So still it took so long. So after understanding first one. So I am Savyo Bahu Uttaraf Pakshaha. So that is the northern hand, is the northern wing, meaning it's the right wing. Right wing of the bird, the left wing of the bird, each of the hands, provided you are imagining the person facing east, purvabhimukhasya. So that the first ayam is what? Right hand. And then uttaraf pakshaha, etc. So idam puchham pratishtha, now evam pakshadishu yojana. So means your own right side, left side, etc. This is what is set up here. Yojana means for the one who is facing east. And then what? The right side is the southern wing. And then this is the northern wing. Right, left, etc. And so Bhashyakara says this is what it is. So the left side is the Uttaraf Paksha. This is what it is. Left, right, wherever you go, this is how it is. And then where is the Atma? Ayam Madhyamo Deha Bhagaha Atma. The middle Atma here doesn't mean the Satchidananda Atma. Atma means just the main portion. And what is the main portion? The torso is considered the main portion in any given animal, in any given thing. Why? Because Sarva Vyapakatvat, because it occupies the most space. Because it occupies the most space and it connects. The torso connects the head to the feet, and the various limbs, the hands and the legs are all connected to the torso. And so for this reason, the torso is called Atma. Madhyama Deha Bhagaha, the middle portion of the body, is called Atma here. That Atma is not Satyam Jnanam Anantam. Please understand that. And then, this is what is the Atma. And then what is this Atma? Madhyamo Deha Bhagaha. Atma. Why? Because he quotes the Taittiriya Upanishad here, or it's the Taittiriya Aranyaka. I forgot to look at that. What is that quote? Let me see. Taittiriya Aranyaka. Yeah. So in the Taittiriya Aranyaka, not the Upanishad, there is a quote. And what is that quote? Madhyam hi esham anganam atma iti shrutehe. Because there also the Shruti tells. So in this esham anganam atma madhyam. So the middle portion is what is called this body, like this the Shruti in the Aitareya Aranyaka also says. So the Madhyama Bhaga is called Atma because it is Mukhya Bhaga, the trunk. And why? Because it is connected to the neck, the head, the hands, etc., the feet, etc. Vyapakatvat. This Madhyama Bhaga Vyapnoti. It is all pervasive. And so therefore, for all the angas, it is the Atma, it is the Mukhya Bhaga, the main portion. Therefore, Esham Anganam Atma iti Shrutehe. Another Shruti also is there to point out that the middle portion is the Atma. This way, there is no confusion. Ayam Atma. And then it is not Satchidananda. Here we are only talking of the body because we have to still go a long way. Anyontara Atma, Pranamaya, Manomaya, etc. And then this is only with regard to the Pakshi Kalpana, with regard to the imagery of the bird, this is understood. And then, so then this is the middle portion is the trunk. So then what? Idam puchham pratishtha. Idam means here, right here, you have a tail. First, the Upanishad points out you have a head. Okay. Then the Upanishad points out no kalpana is necessary. You have a tail. No, no, no. I am a Homo sapien. I have a tailbone. I don't have tail. Well, says the Upanishad, I am very confused because you surely behave as though you have a tail. So I think there is no kalpana necessary because you're already behaving as though you have a tail. And so you must have a tail. No, that's not the idea. There is a little, what is that, formula for arriving at the tail. And what is that, Idam iti nabhehe adasthat yadyad angam asti. Whatever anga is there. Yadyad yad angam, tat puchham. Nabhehe adhastat means below the navel, anything below the belt, whatever is there is called puchham. Because what is there? Legs are there. Legs are there, and the legs are called puchham. Whose legs? Your own legs. We are not talking of frog legs or zebra legs. Your own legs. Your own legs are called puchham. Puchham means tail. But how did my legs become a tail? Samanyat. Samanyat means because there is a similarity between the tail of the bird and then the tail of the legs of the human being. Why? Because the tail of the bird gives it stability and a foundation, and similarly, the feet of the person makes you stand up, gives you stability. And so that's why it is called Puchham. Ita tat pratishtha, pratitishthati anaya. That which is established because of something is called pratishtha. नाभेः अधस्तात् अङ्गं इदं पुच्छं प्रतिष्ठा तत्र इदमिति शब्देन what is conveyed here by idam nabhehe adhastat, whatever is below the navel, from the navel down below the feet, etc., whatever is there, because you see, you're not just looking at the human being, you're looking at every mammal that has a navel. So anything below the navel is called puchham. For the human being, it means leg and the feet. So this is puchham, tat puchham pratishtha. So that is puchham, and it is pratishtha. And the pratishtha is the word that he wants, because it will be carried all over there. It will be carried right to the end. Abhayam pratishtham vindhate atathasya atasa bhayangato bhavati. That until that pratishtha word is carried towards the end, that Brahman is the pratishtha of all. Sarvasya pratishtha is Brahman alone. To say that from here itself the word pratishtha is used. And Bhashyakara is for Bhashyakara, this he catches on to this word. It's very, very important that he introduces the word here itself, so that later on, Asmin eva, in this alone, Sarvam, in this Brahman, Asmin Brahmani eva, Sarvam pratitishthati. Everything is there in this, in this Brahman alone. The Anaya Sarvam pratitishthati. Iti Brahma Puchham Pratishtha, Tat Praptaye. In order to go there, the word Pratishtha is used by the Upanishad. Pratishtha Shabda is used right from the beginning to keep that consistency. So, and then Bhashyakara points out, Pratitishthati Anaya. The word pratishtha is prati plus stha. Stha dhatu with pra as the upasarga. Upasarga means what? The prefix. So pratishtha. What do you mean by that? Pratishtha means the by this So the body stands by this, anaya. Since pratishtha is female, we use anaya, not anena. Anaya pratishtha. Anaya pratitishthati iti pratishtha. By this alone, this means pucham. By this alone, the body is able to stand, because of which that is what is conveyed by pratishtha shabdena. That is what is conveyed. Pratitishthati anaya. So then further he says, puchhamiva puchham adholambana samanyat yatha goho puchham. So puchham means don't look for your tail. Okay, you will not find it. It is not there. And so therefore he says, so kind he is and so cute. He says puchham iva puchham. You imagine here that you have a tail. It's like a tail without actually being a tail. Your legs are it. Your legs are the tail. Puchham iva puchham. Why? Adhaha अधोलम अधः आलम्बन samanyat, because it gives a certain stability. Alambana, it gives a certain ability to stand. And same thing, the pucham of the bird's tail allows it to sense the direction as it flies. It orients it in flight. It makes it, it stabilizes it when it is seated or standing on a wire or something like that. And so therefore, this is the pucham. The function of the pucham is to give stability. And this is samanya for the bird, for the bird-brained one, the bird-brained human being also. No difference. How yatha goho pucham. So for the cow, that like that, the tail which is like a whisk. This is what it is. And so this the pucham iva pucham, and then it's as though a tail. Tail balances for the bird, and to fly, etc. The tail is very important, and so it's the and even in the plane, the tail of the plane, even though it looks very useless, very very important. And then so that's why this is what it is. And so the tail is important, and then just like that, your legs are important. For the bird, the wings just give the lift, but the tail is what is stabilizes and propels it forward. That's what it does. And so therefore, this is pucham iva pucham. It's a tail as though it is like a tail, because it is samanya adholambana samanyat. Because the tail is always this way, it helps you to stabilize. It gives stability. And so, stability from below. That's why, like the tail of the cow, he says. Then he continues, etat prakritya utkarsham pranamayadinam rupakatva siddhihi. Prakritya uttaresham pranamayadinam rupakatva siddhihi. Prakritya means having introduced this. Then Rupaka means metaphor. This metaphor is established, there would be an accomplishment of this Rupakatva, the metaphor. Which metaphor? The shape of the bird, the form of the bird. The bird having a form, etc. Because this way you extend for pranamaya, etc. the same imagery. Even though pranamaya has no form, we are giving it a metaphorical form. Rupakatva siddhihi uttaresham, meaning that which is going to come later on, which is what all the other various loci of errors. Various places where mistakes are made. I am as good as the prana, I am as good as the mind, I am a doer, I am an experience, etc. So, uttaresham pranamayadinam rupakatva siddhihi. Because there is no rupa. You have to give it a rupa, you have to give it a form. That is what is rupakatva siddhihi tesham. So, for achieving a form of all of them, this is the setup. What is that? What is the setup? Pakshi Yojana. That is the arrangement. So then, etat prakritya, so having understood this or having unfolded this, rupakatva siddhi syat. And to demonstrate this rupakatva siddhi, a drishtanta is given, an example is given. Musha nishikta dhruta tamradi pratimavat. Musha means it's not like a mouse or something. It means the mold, the mold. Okay, Musha is a mold. And then, it's really, if you go to near Kanchipuram, there is one Darasuram. And then when you go there, they make all these five metals and all these things, Panchaloha and all these beautiful, very elaborate deities they make. And then so must see, it's just so beautiful. So first they make a elaborate mold in wax, and then it is coated with a thin layer of clay, and then it is put in the kiln. All the wax burns off, melts away, leaving a clay mold, and that is what here is called musha. Musha is this clay mold. Musha nishikta means poured. Poured in the musha. What is that? Druta tamravat. Dhruta means flowing, molten. Tamra, copper, etc. Tamra, adi shabdat, you can put silver, etc. Whatever else. Silver, brass, and other alloys you can add. So, whatever you want to pour in must be in a liquid form. And that liquid metal is called Dhruta Tamram. The liquid copper, etc., is poured into the mold. Dhruta Tamradi Pratimavat. So first they make the form in clay, and then they create this mold, and then they burn off the wax, and then it is then what is that? Then you can you make these the bronze. You can even liquid bronze you can put, molten bronze, and then molten copper or some alloys, panchaloha, everything. You can just give a particular this. And in fact, when they make the face, they will put a little silver and gold also, so that it shines, And so then you get this kind of a mold, and then it gets a form. And then after that, they break open the clay when the mold, the liquid, what is that? The molten metal solidifies. They break open the thing, and then you get a bronze idol. Then they polish it and everything, and then it is just wonderful. Wonderful. That is how it is. Just wonderful. So, Musha Nishikta means Mushayam Nishiktam. That which is poured in there, dropped in there. What? Dhrutam Tamram, Tamradikam. Molten, molten clay, molten metal like copper, etc. Tamradi Pratimavat. Pratima means the idol which is there. So this is there is so therefore this becomes the mold. So within that, you see, so the mold is what? Annamaya. That is what he wants to convey here. Bhashyakara through this says the mold is Annamaya. Right now we are looking at Annamaya and saying this is not the Atma, because it is changing and everything, and then there is something more pervasive. What is that? That which is poured into the mold, that which pervades the entire mold, that is pranamaya. The pranamaya has got the same form as the annamaya, just like the image has the same form as the mold. But then now that the pranamaya has been caught hold of, the annamaya is, for us in our discussion, is no longer useful and can be destroyed, like even the clay mold is broken open and destroyed, because anyontara atma pranamaya. So now this prana, etc., that is what is going to, that is what is going to be discussed after this. So this is how it is. So it's like, how to put this how to put this imagery. It's like those Russian nesting dolls, one inside the other inside the other. So there's a big one, you open, there's a smaller one, you open that, there's a smaller one, then there's a tiny one, and you think it doesn't open, it also opens. And so, like this, there is, one inside the other, inside the other, inside the other. And then, so just like the molten metal is poured into the mold, Pranamaya pervades Annamaya. So now what? Now, by tomorrow, we have to let go of the identification with Annamaya and then come to Pranamaya. So we'll stop here and we'll see further tomorrow. We'll continue. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.